Hey, Todd here, Center Valley Customs. Welcome back to those of you that are back. For everyone else, welcome to the shenanigans. This video, we work on getting this bad boy running. So stick around and watch the chaos, I guess, unfold. All right, Taylor's here. Troy's here, of course. We got this relocation kit. This is a ICT relocation kit. I think you got off Summit. Speedway. It's like, what, 200 bucks? 250 bucks-ish. You can find them a little cheaper, like knockoffs. But, I don't know. He liked this one better. So, we're going to kind of pound away just going through the destructions here and get this all installed. Looks like the instructions are fairly decent, huh?
Yeah.
So, all right.
How do I know if this is Spanish?
Oh, we don't speak Spanish. We got this relocation kit all on. This side is pretty straightforward as far as the brackets go. Getting the power steering pump on here though, you have to pull this pulley off, which you need a special fancy puller like this, whatever. These things, if I can get this out, it's like a half moon thing that goes on here. And then you take this nut and put it in with this, and then use the studs and stuff to pull it out. And then to get it back on, there's supposed to be threads in here. Ours didn't really have threads, so we made threads and to push it back on, whatever. Kind of a messy situation there. This side, again, pretty straightforward. The only thing we had to do here was this bracket is really, really close to this water neck. So we actually had to take the grinder and we ground part of the alternator off, and then we touched up this edge of this, whatchamacallit, water pump. So, other than that, pretty decent kit, I think. We may, I don't know if I can say this on the used tubes, but maybe trace this and make a couple of our own for the future, because we'll need it again. I'm sure we will. So, that's that. That's all good to go. Now it's, I'm going to get into this computer and see if we can disable the VATs, and I know we're negotiating on what we can do because we kind of want to get this running, but we need fuel line, and I think that's kind of all we decided we needed was fuel line, and we could probably get this running and put the starter on. We don't have starter bolts. We need bolts for this. All right, we took a little trip to AutoZone to get some parts, and we needed a belt, fuel line, power steering lines, hardware for the starter, and the only thing we got was hardware for the starter because we got the wrong belt, forgot power steering lines, forgot fuel line. So, great.
We got those at Menards.
Yeah, and actually we got the bolts at the local hardware store. Menards. You people probably don't have that where you're from. Maybe you do. I don't know. Anyway, we need to get into this computer to remove the VATs. As you can see, we got our wiring harness here laid out, and some battery with some jumper cables, whatever. And I got HP tuners here wired up and fired up. So I'm going to read this whole ECU here, hopefully. Alright, we got this all read. We're going to go system. We got VATS control here. We're going to say none and get out of there. And then we can go speedo, and we got a limiter here, 98. Yeah, that's not happening. 200. And this one, I don't know what this one is, but I'm just going to put it 1 mile an hour bigger. Speed limiter by fuel. I don't know what this is. We're going to go 200. And I don't know what that thing does either. So, good enough. Okay, now we can download this back into the vehicle. And I got to do some stuff here. So, anyway, that's it. That's all you got to do for that. And then write it to the thingamajigger. And should be good to go. I hope. It's probably a week later. I have no idea. Honestly, I barely even remember where we left off. But no Taylor or anybody today, just me. I'm honestly not really that motivated. But I'm going to try to get some stuff done. I think we left off with me removing the VATs on that computer, which didn't go well because as it was downloading or writing the calibration, it failed. And now I can't read it, I can't write to it, I can't do anything. I talked with HP tuners, I looked up a whole bunch of threads and a whole bunch of other stuff. I can't get it, so I'm probably going to end up going and getting a different computer tomorrow. Along with that, I'll probably get a wiring harness, at least a harness that plugs into the computer, and an OBD2. That way I can make like a bench harness thing, and I don't have to have all the wires and the harness and all that stuff. Anyway, but today what I'm going to start with is Taylor bought a set of long tube headers. So the old headers would not fit. I believe these are Speed Engineering headers. They are for an LS Swap B body. Be honest with you, I don't know what an A body is. I don't know what a B body is. I don't know anybody. Okay, so whatever. So I'm going to start today with at least trying to get these up inside here. The biggest issue we had was on the driver's side, this tube, these two tubes hitting the steering arm, steering shaft. So hopefully these have a tight enough bend to where they won't do that. But I got the car jacked up because these need to go in from the bottom. I think if I can get them in from the bottom, I think they're gonna fit. But we're about to find that out right now. So the mosquitoes are absolutely relentless. Pretty close. I don't know what we're hitting. Oh, we're hitting the K member. That's not good. Alright, well, we're hitting the K member right there. So that pipe, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, needs to come up tighter with the one next to it. And I don't know if any hammering is going to get it to move that far. So we got to move that far. It's probably about an inch. So will this flip over or am I still upside down? I'm not sure. So I don't think any amount of my precision hammer work is going to get that to fit. Oh, right there, some right there. Yeah, beautiful. So I'm going to try putting the other side in, and I'm assuming we're going to have the same problem. Well, I had to jack the car up some more, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Come on. Oh yeah. Hopefully it fits because it ain't coming back out. Kidding now. See if this one will go in from the top. Probably not, but I'm gonna try. Can't see anything. probably pull those plugs out. Do that first. All right, so yesterday I started trying to put these headers in, and they didn't fit, and I got aggravated. I just wasn't motivated enough to keep going, and they weren't going to fit without cutting pipes, and I wasn't going to start cutting pipes without Taylor. So while I was at the junkyard getting another computer, because I thought I bricked that one computer, but I got a harness, and then I made this thingamajigger. Yeah, standalone bench harness, and then it worked. So I don't know what that means, but now I got an extra computer for, something else. But anyway, Taylor, while I was gone, started working on this whole deal, Bob. So what we ended up doing is it was hitting the K-member like right in here. So Taylor cut this pipe here and down here, and then turned to this one and turned to this one, so it makes this gap tighter. So now he welded this piece on here, tacked this piece on here. We got connect the dots here somehow, but we don't really have. This is 1 3/4 tubing. We don't have any 1 3/4 tubing except for what's on the end of this little pipe here. And this is like, I don't know, 1 5/8. No, that'd be small.
Probably
1 7/8. So it's a little bigger, but it actually doesn't match up too bad. So we might just use this. So anyway, so we got to figure out how to connect the dots and see if we can get it to work. All right, so after in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, weld some pipes, cut them off, in, out, weld some more pipes, cut them off, put it in, mark it, blah, blah, blah. We stole some pipes off of here to make this piece. That's going to go like that. We'll slip fit onto that deal-a-mo bob somehow. And then that will mate up to that. So we're going to take this off. We're going to weld it here. We're going to weld it here. Then we'll slide it on, line it up, and then weld these ends. And should fit, except for before we do that, or at least before we put that pipe on, we need to beat this in some more yet because it's hitting the bottom A-arm. So, but after this it'll fit, and then we can go on to the next one that doesn't fit. The other side that doesn't fit.
Oh, we might be mismatching.
And we might be running mismatched headers. Although I'm going to try like hell not to be, because that looks stupid. Alright, so this is what we come up with. Mix and match header. Don't worry about that. This is 1 3/4, 2 inch tube. So this 2 inch should make up for that. Right? No. So we're going to throw this thing in and probably call it a night, to be honest. Well, there it is. That one's in. Clears the steering arm just barely, but it does clear. Pretty tight underneath. This other side is where the collector comes together. All the 4 pipes. It's like extremely tight between the starter and this A-arm bracket tree. So that side, I don't know. Taylor already did a bunch of beating on it already to try to narrow it up. I didn't beat this. Oh, I did a little bit right here. So I don't know. I don't know if that side's going to go in, but like I said, I got other things I need to attend to. So I'm pretty much done for the night. And probably see you tomorrow. Well, we got headers. Yeah, we're going mismatch. We could not, and would not get this portion of the header, the collector part, to fit down in between there. And even if we were able to get that to fit in there, this was all going to be a problem here. And probably a couple of these actually. So Taylor decided that we're just going mismatch. Long tube on one side, shorty on the other. It is what it is. It's gotta happen. So today, it's after work. I took my truck into the shop to get work done, alignment done, and they're gonna check pinion angle and all that stuff. I have a feeling I did my pinion angle backwards. That sucks. But I'm gonna work on the wiring harness. So because we moved the alternator from here over to here, where our plug plugs in is all the way over here. This big bad boy. This needs to be, I'm gonna run it down this one injector tube and come out there. So what I need to do is slice all of this open so I can get that wire all the way down to that wire. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to leave it long until we get the harness all in the car and whatnot, and then I can shorten that that pigtail up. Which leads to another issue. This harness does not have an oil pressure connector, because apparently the computer doesn't need oil pressure for anything. From what I find in the threads and stuff on forums, so. Which is fine. We could put a mechanical gauge in it. That's not a big deal. But what we would like to do is have a digital dash in this. So we'd like to utilize the OBD2 port on here to display all of our stuff. Oil pressure, temperature. I guess that's all that really matters is those two things. But in order to do that, I'm not 100% sure on this quite yet, but this is the original harness, all in here, this area. I may try to strip that oil pressure sensor out of there and see where it goes. So I have these red and blue connectors yet from the harness that I took out of the junkyard. So if I need to add a couple pigtails or pins in these harnesses, no big deal. I just got to know where the wires go. So I may use that harness over yonder, cut that all open, follow the wires down and figure out what pins they go into, or if they go into any pins. I don't know. I read online that it actually goes to the body control module, which we don't have. So I don't know. Somehow the computer's got to read the oil pressure. I mean, even if it doesn't use it for anything, it's got to read it. So I might, like I said, rip that harness apart later. Today it is hot and humid. It's like 90 something degrees out and it is stupid humid. I am sweating, doing nothing. So anyway, I'm going to start cutting all this open and get that one wire moved around. All right, I got that all taped back up and got my wires coming out of there. I'm just going to leave those cut for now until we get the harness in the car and figure out what the length needs to be for those wires. And then I can solder and whatever, the other pigtail back on or connector back on. I was correct, or I should say the internet was correct, is the oil pressure does go to this connector, which I assume goes to the body control module or whatever. So I don't know. I'm going to do some research and see if there's a way that I can wire in oil pressure into those connectors, because this is the documents for the, whatchamacallit, standalone harness, and it shows an oil pressure sensor and which one to use. So I would assume if it was on there, it would have a connector, but we also didn't plug everything in. So it's very possible there is a connector in here. I just don't know where it is. So I'm going to look up the prints for those connectors and see if there's a oil pressure input, or maybe the computer just gets the oil pressure through the BCM, through like CAN bus or something. I have no idea. I have to research that. The other issue we do have is all of our fuel injectors connectors are the wrong type, which is pretty common when you buy a standalone harness, that they may not be correct. So I did buy some adapters that'll adapt from this. I can't remember what this is. I can't remember what these connectors are called, to the style injector that we have, but I will probably cut them and just wire them, solder them directly onto these, just because I don't want a long adapter. I don't know. I could just cut these ones off of here and solder them onto there, but those are all broke, and I don't know, just rather have new ones. So I ordered some already, but I don't know when they're going to be here. It says this weekend, which sucks because I'd like to get this all in the car this week, and maybe we will. I don't know what the plan is yet. So, but whoops, that's all for me for the night. I'm probably gonna go inside and do some work, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll catch you next time. I don't know when. Yo, today, more wiring. I got these connectors. So this is the style connector that is currently on this wiring harness, and this is the style that we need to go to for our injectors here, as you can see. I don't know what these are called. I don't know what these ends are called, but I could just use this, plug this into what's currently on there, and it would work just fine, but these are kind of long. So I'm going to try to keep this as clean as I can. I would actually like to take that harness and try to fish that harness down under here, but there's really no openings. There's only like 2 openings, one here and one over there, to get the wires out for all the injectors. And if I was to do that, these coil pack connectors probably wouldn't reach, and no way in hell I'm getting them through that hole down there. So unfortunately, the harness is just going to have to sit on top like any other motor. If I really wanted to get crazy, we could cut and splice wires to make it work, but we're not going to get that crazy. So what I'm going to do today is cut the end off of this that I need, and then cut the end off of these that I don't need, and solder them and whatever. So there's 8 of these, so that's 16 wires. And then I actually just stuck this harness in the car to see how long I need to make these wires for the alternator. So I have a mark in here. Once I cut that pigtail wherever, oh, right here it is. Once I cut this a little shorter, cut it about in here, solder them together, should look fairly clean. So yeah, work on that, and then try to get this harness in the car, get everything plugged in that we have, and that will show us what we're missing. I know for sure we're missing a map sensor, and I know for sure we're obviously missing 2 O2 sensors, so we need to get those. But other than that, there's a fair amount of connectors that are just hanging yet. So we need to figure out what those are for. Some might be for air conditioning, which we don't have, so those will get snipped. Go from there. Yeah, so today is going to be wiring again. It's not fun, but whatever, it's got to be done. All right, I just kind of tossed this harness in here. Got all these connectors sweated on. Yeah, I just be sweating all them wires on. I guess technically it's more sweating is kind of the same thing as soldering. Anyway, I soldered all these ends on. So now I'm just going to try to get this in here, get everything plugged in. I don't know. I wish I had a motor to look at to kind of see how this harness laid in here, but I'm going to try to tuck it down as far as I can, which isn't very far. But anyway, start plugging stuff in. Don't know what this is. This one here, which is the throttle position sensor. This one here, I don't know. This one here is whatever this thing is. I don't know what this is. Mass airflow maybe? Maybe a mass airflow thing. Normally the mass airflow is like a big deal on the outside though. One of these, I believe this one should be for the coolant temperature. Not this one. Not those. This one maybe. Okay, not that one. Probably back to this one. Yep. Okay, plug that in. I don't know what these are for. Again, like I said, these might be for air conditioning or something, but I thought air conditioning would be on the other side, so I don't know what these ones are for. Figure that out later. Plug in our injectors. So I want to try to tuck this down best I can. Oh, these have like a weird funky lock thing. That once you get them on, you gotta push the tab down. This is O2, so that goes down this way. And there's a ground for the motor. So this is kind of what I was worried about. Kind of wanted to stuff this down in here. And then this plugs into here. I wonder if I can kind of wrap this around. Something like this, maybe. Try to hide this a little bit. Maybe not really hide, but well, I was wiring the starter, and then I decided I should probably figure out where the wire is for the start solenoid. So I started looking over here, then I was over there, then I looked up a wiring diagram, found that it's the purple wire on this harness down here. So I followed that in the car, which was wire nutted to another red wire that came back this way. And then I ended up down in here. So I still don't know where it comes from. Probably not this 12 gauge ground, which I don't know. There is there's cut-off wires in here. There's, I don't know where these go, all taped together. There's a big ass junction right here, which actually I think is on the wiring diagram, but it was just had duct tape around it. I don't know where that went. And oh, here's the end of these. Zip ties all in here, which I guess that's okay, but there's a lot of them. This one's lime green. That wire goes nowhere. Oh, there's the ground. That goes nowhere. So, I'm about ready to just grab hold of this and yank really, really hard. This, I think, went to a voltage regulator that's not here anymore. We got other wires in here. There's a blue wire. That one was going nowhere too. That one can go. I think these went to a horn because they go to the horn relay. So, long story short, this thing is a wiring disaster. I have no idea how this thing has not burned down. I'd like to know where these go. Or where they... Oh wait, hold on a minute. 1 second. No, look at that. They go to this voltage regulator. I think. This goes nowhere off of here. So guess what? If it goes nowhere, it's going to go nowhere. Probably should leave this red wire on here in case we need it. In case it's supposed to go somewhere that we need. These come off of here. It's another red wire that comes off of this junction. Get rid of that. Okay, that's taken care of. Except for this. We might need this for something. Although, I don't know what for. Anyway. Oh boy. So I just went down the wiring rabbit hole. Under the dash, it's no better. There is. It's probably worse than out here, to be honest. Yeah. So I need to find a legit wiring diagram so I can figure all this out, because I found the wire, which is this one, that's connected to the purple wire, which should go to the key for start, but this one was connected to this one, which was, they were both inside. So I'm guessing this one here, which goes behind the motor, and then is taped to a white wire that goes to a junction box, little junction point over there, which looks aftermarket, but according to the diagram, it actually looks like it's supposed to be there, which is weird. So that's where the power must come from. No, because there's a red wire coming over here. That's, I got some looking around to do. I got to figure this out. So I have no idea. I'm going to have to go in the house and actually get my computer, find a wiring diagram, and try to figure this out. Because this is a mess. So that means I'm done for the night. Hey, new day. So, big day. We're gonna see if we can get this running. So I went through some of these wires here and figured out what we need, what we don't need. I ran a wire from the purple wire that I found yesterday, from there down to the starter for starting, and then I ran a hot from here down to the battery and got rid of a bunch of other crap that was all in here, which is now down there. So we should be ready to try to start. But what we're going to do first is we're going to leave the computer unhooked and everything and just hit the key, make sure it turns over, that kind of thing, before we actually try to start it. So we're kind of to that point, I guess. All right, we're going to just hit it and see if it turns over, and hopefully nothing bad happens.
All right.
Yeah? Did you hold it, or did you just hit it? So the starter must be hitting the...
I hear sparks back there.
Oh. All right, for some reason, we don't have a good connection on this terminal. Not sure why. Oh, I smashed it down with this pitman arm, so I would have thought it would have had good contact. Okay, so I guess we have to clean this. Make sure you breathe it all in. It's very possible this battery is dead too. Oh, that thing's bad. It's like this thing sat in the garage for 7 years. Ouch. Okay, take two. Maybe I should try to put this over here like this. Should we clean this one? Nah. Just see what happens. Take two. Hit it. Do it again once.
I like that.
Do it again once.
That's a little better than the click.
Feels weird. Like the...
Well, it's solid.
Oh, maybe.
It's.
I don't know. Hit it again. Hold it for like a second or so.
She wants to go, man. Let's get some fuel in her.
All right. We got to rig up a fuel system because we have no fuel. Actually, we have no fuel and we have no fuel system. So
We're gonna find some fuel.
we got to siphon some fuel out of something around here.
Yeah, 87. Like I said, 87 is just old premium. So I mean, this will be good.
Won't be the wife's car. So let's go find some fuel and rig up a system, and then we can hook up this computer, hook up my computer to it, make sure we can see things happening, and give her hell. We're about ready to start this up. We got a fuel pump, MSD, big boy, on a switchy switch here. And then this is the ignition to run the computer. And that's pretty much it. This is a fuel tank. So we tried siphoning fuel out of the car, but it didn't work. So we took it out of my lawnmower. Whatever. So we're gonna hit this bad boy and see what happens. All right. Give her fuel. We got ignition, fuel. I'll handle the throttle, I guess, and I think just give her hell. I think turn it on and just let her eat.
Ready?
Yeah. Hit her again. You got that on? Is it on? Oh, that does work. Oh, because we have it connected to that.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, it's all electric injectors.
All right. Awesome. It's got a wicked delay, which I don't know why. But
Probably
maybe because we don't have
half the shit hooked up.
half the stuff hooked up, but
No, this, I don't know, something to do with it.
maybe. I did have this going, so I could check it, watch it, look at it. I don't know what I'm looking at here. Well, we're going to start this again. Why? I don't know, just because it's cool. And we need to see if the transmission like turns, which doesn't really mean anything because
I mean, it means something.
it means it'll turn, but doesn't really mean it's actually going to work. Plus, I want to get this on Snapchat. Hit it.
It turns.
All right.
It's in drive.
Transmission kind of works. Put it in reverse. Start it again. See if it goes the other way. Starts up, not bad. Hit the fuel first once. Let it get pressure and then hit it. That sounds cool.
Real big. That's a stage 17 cam.
So we have absolutely no map sensor and we have no mass airflow, so it's probably not running like it should, but it runs. That's awesome. And the transmission goes forward, goes backwards. It runs. It all runs. Taylor's over there having a sippy sip of an adult beverage. That's what I wanted out of the next video, and that's what we got. I wanted to see this thing run. It runs. Transmission, we don't know yet. It turns one way, but we don't know if that's an issue or if it just needs to have a load on it or what the issue is, because we only got probably a gallon of training fluid in it. So, I don't know. And we're watching hockey ball. Probably not supposed to put that on here, but whatever. That's all I know. I don't know. This video is probably going to be all over the place because it was over a couple weeks, to be honest. And I don't know. I don't know what we're doing next. I know the next video, you'll see. I already got that done, filmed, blah, blah, blah. all that good stuff. Taylor and I are gonna go have some drinks for the celebration, I guess. I don't know. But all right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and stick around for what happens next, because I don't know what that is. So
The good stuff. I mean, once it's going, then it's nothing but tire smoke and
it's all going to be good
breaking
stuff.
stuff.
Hopefully it's going to all be good stuff. So thanks again.